I had often said to myself that, oddly, Minecraft's ultimate expression is in the aesthetic. So despite the fact that you spend a lot of time interacting with and building systems and interacting and building machines, it all really seems to be to an end that is purely aesthetic in nature. So you're trying to build something that's evocative or speaks to you or is functional in some way, but ultimately it just comes down to, what did you build? Does it look pretty? There's a very popular set of games, collectively known as kind of the Myst series, that all of which involve or revolve around the use of these books, these linking books, that allow people to both craft worlds, so quite literally author them in some kind of language, and then also travel between them through the use of these books, and it becomes a very central mechanic in the Myst series. The Mystcraft mod, as the name might imply, adds many of the mechanics from the Myst series into Minecraft. Now, of course, the Myst games were all puzzle story games, so you couldn't really affect the world all that much. But in Minecraft, where the stated purpose of doing anything is to experiment and play with things procedurally, you can begin to make these books, these linking books, that are useful for a variety of reasons. And this was what got me into the server in the first place. So I've just taken one of them to this central hub that actually just started off as a tiny little stone shack in an alternate dimension that contained a few books leading to some of the various important places that we had around, and has since grown into the unbridled single most important point, I'd say, in the entire server, because it contains about 3 full floors of books, nothing but books leading to and from this place. People began to explore my linking world and go through my linking books to the places that I had made, which led people to one of my more famous creations that was designed to give us infinite iron. It's been since dubbed the Village of the Damned, and I had no idea how ethically dubious it was going to be when I first made it. To me, it was just quite simply the most practical way of giving infinite iron to myself and everybody else. But as you can see, most of the server's population didn't like it so much, and so in this room that was made by, I believe, Nick Watson, it has been dubbed the Village of the Damned, Iron Farm, creepy as heck. Well, I have trouble disagreeing. It's true. It is kind of creepy as heck. Welcome to the Village of the Damned. One of the first things that I discovered was this village, this inane village sticking out of the middle of the ocean, with all the villagers stuck in the water because there was no walkways between the various buildings. Villages are these randomly generated things that show up in the Minecraft world, which are home to a bunch of non-player character inhabitants known as the villagers collectively. Actually, you can see one stuck in the water over here. And I had recently discovered that if there are enough villagers around in a village, there will be golems that will spawn. These are iron golems. I'm actually really glad they're here because it's easier to demonstrate what they are. They are there to protect the villagers. So once the villages reach critical mass, these golems will go out and punch zombies or skeletons so that the villagers survive rather than just getting mercilessly slaughtered by creatures of the night. Now, they're iron golems, which means that when they die, they probably drop a part of their constituent cells, which in this case is iron. Iron being one of the most important materials in the game, and it's difficult to come by normally. If all the villagers were not stuck in the water, but instead were in these little villager pods, you can see them jumping around in there, they would be safe, they would reproduce, they would have no need for any materials besides the water that's in there, and even I don't think they need that. And also, they, just by being where they were, would spawn iron golems in the middle of here, because the middle of the village is defined as being the center point, balance between each of the villagers. And so there are 4 villager pods around the outside of this giant square configuration. And it was meant to protect them and also to spawn a whole bunch of iron golems. They all and would generate infinite iron, because as long as the village is here and as long as the iron golems would die, more golems would spawn eventually. Oh my god. I think what we might be seeing here, dear viewers, is the beginnings of a villager singularity. So many villagers stuck together in one point that they've reached critical mass and can no longer escape. So I really want to break the block underneath them and see what happens when they just all explode. Let's see what happens. Okay. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Whoa! Oh! Oh my Oh no! What's drowning? And they're having sex. Well, you know, don't mind. I'm gonna find out what his name is. Hold on. What's this guy's name? This is Earl. This bright spark over here just can't swim a little ways over. Is instead dying in a smaller water fountain. And everyone's like, well, we're stuck in the water with no way out. What do we do now? Let's fuck. So I guess the last fitting thing to do is just open up these doors and then break these boxes so people are free to come and go as they like. I feel like that's the only thing left to do. There we go. A touching, moving tribute to these brave, poor, oppressed souls. There has been a bunch of players who started playing on this server who had quite a bit of a problem with the way that space was used and how people's delineated spaces were being kind of taken over or disrespected, and their way of dealing with that actually was to leave and to start a new server by themselves, and start playing in that environment, away from the people that they had problems with, and so I mean, it's really unfortunate that the community got split, but I totally understand, you know, the need to strike out and make a space that's safe for oneself. I would hate to think that my Village of the Damned had anything to do with that, but even still, it certainly has made me more aware of the effects that my building choices have on other people. Interestingly enough, we haven't had a problem with open conflict in this server yet, and I haven't really played on too many other Minecraft server communities, so I'm not sure how common it is, but we've never had fights between players on this. There's never been that much in the way of problems with resources. It's been mainly, I'd say, disagreements over what is this aesthetically pleasing, what the proper use for a space is, and I think that that's the conception that's shifted most in the time that I've seen it, or the time that I've been on this server. So I'm tempted to say that that's kind of the point. Come up with these giant, amazing procedural and functional structures that are astounding to behold, but also do something. And it's really in teasing out and exploring the nuances and the idiosyncrasies of these processes, these various blocks that react to one another in interesting and emergent ways. That's at the crux. It forms the crux of what Minecraft is about and why we play it.